Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are fit and fine at your home. Students, today we are going to learn the poetic appreciation of the poem The Brook from the standard 7th English subject. Okay students, so this video is for the students of 7th standard English subject. Okay, in the previous video we have learned the explanation of this poem, that is The Brook. Now today we are going to learn the appreciation of this poem or the critical analysis of this poem. Okay students, so without wasting time, let's get started with the poetic appreciation. Students, the name of the poem is The Brook. The poet of this poem is Alfred Lord Tennyson. Yes student, Alfred Lord Tennyson. He is a British writer or he is a British poet. The period of Alfred Lord Tennyson was 6th August 1808 to 6th October 1892. Okay student, so this was the period of poet Alfred Lord Tennyson. He was poet laureate during the period of Victoria Queen. Okay students. Yes student, here laureate means what? He was appointed by the king or queen. He had written this poem just 6 years before his death in 1896. Yeah. This poem is a ballad. The poem is a ballad in which the speaker, the brook or the stream speaks itself. Yes student, it is a ballad. Yes, what do you mean by ballad? Do you know the meaning of ballad? Ballad is a short poem that narrates a story. Okay student, so here this poem, that is The Brook, is also very short poem of 12 stanzas. Each stanza has 4 lines. Okay, and here the brook itself narrates its own story of journey. Okay student, right from the beginning means what? Right from the origin of flow to the end of the stream, the brook is narrating the story right from the origin of its own to its end. It narrates its own journey of flowing, okay, and meeting into the river, brimming river. And the brook is narrating its experiences. How does it flow? How much long does it flow? Okay student, as well as by the side of what does it flow? Okay student, and at the last, how does it meet into the river? Okay, so in this way the brook or a stream narrates its own story. Okay student, now here Lord Alfred Tennyson uses different kinds of literary devices in the poem. Okay student, so let's learn about the literary devices that are used in the poem. Okay students, so let's get started with the literary devices of this poem now. Okay, one by one I will explain the literary device and then I will give example of it. Okay students, are you ready? Very good. Students, the first literary device is personification. Yes, in this poem the literary device personification is used. Yes student, do you know what is personification? And a human quality is given to an object or an abstract idea, that is known as personification. Okay students, so here inanimate objects or abstract ideas are spoken of as having life. It becomes personification. Okay student, in short, if we are using a human quality for an object or non-living thing or abstract idea, that is known as personification. Okay student, so here in this poem the brook is narrating story. The brook is telling a story. Okay, brook means what? What do you mean by brook? Brook means a stream. So here the stream is telling its own story. Okay, it means that here one of the qualities of human, that is speaking, talking, narrating, is given to the brook. Okay, and brook is inanimate. It is not living thing, but a quality of living thing is given to the brook. So here personification is used. You can see a lot of time I word is used. I is used for the brook. Okay, so there we can see personification. The example of personification is I come from haunts of Kutine Hern. Okay, so the first line itself tells about the personification. I come from. Okay, here I is referred to the brook. So it is personification. The second one is I hurry down. Okay, student. I again here refer to the brook. I hurry down. The third one more example. I chatter over stony ways. Yes, student. Here the chatter, this quality is of the human being, and this quality is given to I. I means the stream here or the brook here. It means the use of personification is done here. Okay, student, have understood? Very good. Now the next literary device is alliteration. Yes, student, what do you mean by alliteration? Alliteration means the repetition of consonant sounds in the beginning of two or more consecutive words is known as alliteration. Okay, student. So here we can see the use of consonant sounds in this stanza. Okay, or in a line or in a sentence. Okay, student. Then what do you mean by consonant, student? While creating sound, if any kind of obstacle, hurdles create in the mouth and the sound produces, that is called as consonant sound. If any block is created during creation of a sound or making of a sound, that sound is called as consonant sound. For example, P. While saying P, I am closing my lips, releasing the air, then I will pronounce P. Okay, student? So blocking air and releasing air, it means it creates hurdle for the air. That sound is called as consonant sound. Okay, student? In our alphabets A, E, I, O, U. Okay, if we leave these alphabets, all other alphabets are consonant sounds. Okay, student, have you understood? The repetition of such kind of consonant sounds in a stanza or a sentence is known as alliteration. For example, sudden Sally. Yes, student. Here, sudden Sally. The first sound is S and the second sound is S. And S is a consonant sound. And here we can see the repetition of S sound. So it is alliteration. Okay, students. The next example is by 20 thops, a little town. Okay, student. This line is from the second stanza. Here we can see 20 thops. These words begins with the sound T and T. Okay, student. And T is a consonant sound. So it is alliteration. Students, the next example is for men may come and men may go. Here M and M sound is repeated and M is a consonant sound. So it is alliteration. The next example is fairy foreland. Okay, from the fifth stanza, fairy foreland. Here F sound is repeated and F is consonant sound. So it is alliteration. And the next example of alliteration is with willow weed from the stanza number 5th. With willow weed. W sound is repeated. So it is alliteration. Again from the 6th stanza, chatter chatter. Here sound is repeated. So it is consonant sound and it is alliteration. Again in the 6th stanza, the same line is repeated. For men may come and men may go. Okay, student. So here we can see the repetition of m sound. So here it is alliteration, students. Students, now the examples from the 8th stanza. Foamy flake. Here f sound is repeated. Foamy flake. And golden gravel. Here g sound is repeated and both are consonant sounds. So it is alliteration. Okay, student, have you understood? Very good. In 10th stanza, skimming swallows and sandy shallows. Here the s sound is repeated, and s is a consonant sound. So here alliteration is the literary device that is used again. Okay, student? So these are the examples of alliteration. I hope you have understood what is alliteration and the examples of alliteration. Okay, now the next literary device, repetition. Yes, student, what do you mean by repetition? Here one of the literary devices is used, that is repetition. Do you know the meaning of repetition, student? Yes, let me tell you. Repetition means if a word or a sentence is repeatedly used in a stanza or a sentence is known as repetition. Okay, student. For example, for men may come and men may go. Here, men may is repeated twice. Okay, student. So here it is repetition, or this is the example of repetition. Okay. Now the next example is from the second stanza. The first line of the second stanza says by 30 hills, and the third line says by 20 tops. So here in this stanza, by word is used twice. Okay, student. So repetition of by word is used here or done here twice. So it is repetition. Okay, students. Now the next example. In the fifth stanza, in the first three lines, one word, that is many, is used repeatedly. Okay, thrice it is used. So it is repetition of the word, that is many. Students, in the sixth stanza, I chatter, chatter as I flow. In this line, chatter, chatter is used twice. So it is repetition, and I chatter, chatter as I flow. It means here again twice I is used. So repetition of I is here. Okay, student, have you understood? Very good. Next example is from the seventh stanza. Here the line number 3rd and line number 4th, that is, and here and there and here and there are repeated twice. So it is repetition of the sentence. Okay, student, have you understood this much? Very good. In the whole poem, there are 3 such lines are there which are repeated for the 4 times. Okay, student? Yes. Have you observed? Yes. Let me tell you. To join the brimming river, for men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. Yes, student. These 3 lines are repeated in the 3rd stanza, the 6th stanza, the 9th stanza, and the last stanza. Okay, student. So these are the lines which are repeated for the 4 times in the poem. I hope you have understood the literary device, that is repetition. Okay, students. Now the next literary device that is used in the poem is inversion. Yes. Do you know what is inversion, student? Here, most of the time, for the purpose of giving stress or importance to a particular thing, the poet reverses the structure of the sentence. Okay, that is known as inversion. Okay, student. Actually, we know that the structure of the sentence is normally subject plus verb plus object. But here, for the purpose of giving importance to something, the poet brings object first before the subject. That is known as inversion. Okay, student, have you understood? So to give importance to the object, it inverted by the poet. That is known as inversion. So let's have example of the inversion now. In the second stanza, the first line or the first sentence of the second stanza is by 30 hills I hurry down. Yes, student. Here what do we see? Before subject is I is the subject in this sentence, and before the subject object is brought, that is by the hills. Okay, student. Actually the sentence should be I hurry down by the hills. Okay, but it is inverted. Object has brought before the subject to give importance to the 30 hills. Okay, students. So this is inversion. Now let's have one more example. Now one more example from the 3rd stanza. Yes, student. It is well-known example of inversion. Till last by Phillips's farm I flow. Here, student, the subject is I. Okay, I, and the object is Phillips's farm. Okay, but here before subject object is used. So it is inversion. Actually, the sentence should be normally, I flow till last Phillips's farm. Okay, student, this should be the normal structure of the sentence. But here the poet has inverted by bringing object first and subject afterward. This is the example of inversion. Okay, student, have you understood? One more example. I will tell you. You need to identify and comment below the video and tell me how it is inverted. Okay, students. This example is from the 5th stanza. Okay, observe it properly and let me know the answer. With many a curve, my banks I fret. Yes, student. Here you have to identify the inversion. How inversion is done. Let me know by commenting in the comment box. The next one is onomatopoeia, students. Yes, this literary device usually we do use to denote the sound of something. Okay, students. For example, bicker, chatter, sharp and trebles, babble and murmur. Students, all these words shows musical aspect or it denotes a sound quality. Okay, student. So here in this poem, the poet has used such kind of onomatopoeia. It means the poet has used a lot of musical words in the poem. Have you understood, students? Very good. Now the next literary device is antithesis. Yes, student, what do you mean by antithesis? Let me tell you. Okay, if such kind of words are used in the sentence that are opposite to each other, or if they have contrast with each other, such kind of words are known as antithesis. For example, here in this poem, for men may come and men may go. Here two words are used, come and go, which shows or which have the opposite meaning. So this is antithesis. Okay, students, have you understood? Very good. Students, one more last example I would like to give you of the literary devices, that is accidental. Okay, student, what is accidental here? If there is no use of conjunction in a sentence, that is known as accidental. Okay, student. For example, in the 10th stanza, the first line, I slide, I glide, I gloom, I glance. Here, no conjunction is used. So it is accidental. So it is an example of accidental literary device. Okay, students, have you understood? Very good. Students, at the last, I would like to tell you about the rhyming words that are used in the poem. Okay, in the previous video, I have given you the information about the rhyming words, as well as I have explained what is meant by rhyming words. Okay, student. Now here, I would like to tell you about the rhyming scheme of this poem. I told you that there are 12 stanzas. Each stanza has 4 lines, and here in the 4 sentences, here in the stanza, the rhyming scheme of this poem is A, B, A, B. Because in each stanza, the last sound of first line is matches with the sound of second line. Okay, and the last sound of second line is matches with the last word of fourth line. Okay, student, which is the rhyming scheme here? A, B, A, B. Because the last sound of the first sentence and the last sound of the third sentence, both are matching together, and the last sound of the second sentence and the last sound of the fourth sentence are matching together. So in this way, here in this poem, AB rhyming scheme is used. Okay, students, have you understood? Very good. So student, today we have learned the critical appreciation or poetic appreciation of the poem The Brook, written by Alfred Lord Tennyson. I hope you might have understood the literary devices used in the poem, as well as you might have quite aware about the examples which are used in the poem, that is the Brook. Okay, student, if you have liked this video, like it, share it to your friends, comment below the video, and do not forget to subscribe it and press the bell icon so that you will get current notification of new videos. Thank you and be connected.